This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather, ho there, it's Jeff Cutastrophe. Welcome to another sports catastrophe on this day. And on this day, 20 years ago in 2003, the famous New York Times bestseller Moneyball came out. It was a big book and all that. It was actually based on it was Moneyball, the art of winning an unfair game. It's in it. And of course, the book's an account of Oakland's 2002 season and GM Billy Beane's attempts to assemble a competitive team. And, the book was huge and all that. Now, the 2002 Oakland A's were not like any other team. They put up 103 wins and all that. And, it was all about the synopsis. So anyway, everyone knows about the movie, and that's what you see on the screen, is the movie thing about Moneyball with Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill, and Philip Seymour Hoffman. But anyway, the synopsis was talking about, the premise was about the collective wisdom of baseball insiders, as in players, managers, coaches, scouts, and the front office, is outdated, subjective, and flawed. Stats such as stolen bases, RBIs, and batting average are relics and all that. And the teams were dependent on the skills of their scouts to find and evaluate players. So they basically wanted to do something about sabermetrics to try to change things up. Now, I personally am of the sound body and mind of batting average, home runs, and RBIs being the big thing, and not wins above replacement. Although, I'm getting a little warmed up to that. But I mean, like, the BAP and all that shit, I can't do it. Anyway, the A's wanted to take advantage of the sabermetrics to field a team that could outsmart and better compete against teams in Major League Baseball. The A's had $44 million in salary, which was small compared to the Yankees, who put $125 million. So anyway, Oakland had to find players undervalued by the market and all that. So they talked about prospect selection and sabermetrics and all that, and how Jerry Bonderman was the type of draft pick Beane would avoid. So they talked about the sabermetrics with Bill James and all that, doing the baseball abstract and all that. Of course, Moneyball, lots of people have full-time sabermetric analysts and all that. So anyway, lots of people say Tampa's masters at Moneyball because of how much money they have in payroll, and yet they keep doing quite well. All that. Yeah, they talk about the Oakland players and all that, and the scouts and the analysts and all that. So anyway, using sabermetrics, they drafted certain players and all that. Oakland would draft Nick Swisher, and he was pretty good for the Yankees. Joe Blanton was decent for Philly and Tampa, and practically not a lot of moves. So the sabermetrics actually failed and all that. Yeah, so the 2002 Oakland season, when they did Moneyball, Oakland had to be tumultuous. I mean, they lost Jason Giambi, Johnny Damon, and Jason Isringhausen in free agency to other teams. Giambi left for New York, Damon for Boston, and Isringhausen for St. Louis. And the worst part is all three of those players were successful with those clubs, especially Johnny Damon winning the title in 2004. So they sought to replace Damon and Giambi, and they took Scott Hatteberg and David Justice in free agency. They made a major move trading for Billy Koch, who was a pretty good closer and all that. They also signed Ted Lilly and Ray Durham. that whole Toronto trade actually worked out for Oakland in a sense, but also for the Blue Jays because Eric Hinsky won the 2002 American League Rookie of the Year. The A's were 20 and 26 at one point, but then went on a 16-1 run. It wasn't that bad. But then they put up a 20-game winning streak in the Moneyball 2002 season. The first win was against my beloved Blue Jays. But Corey Lytle was on fire. He had actually been 5-0 during August with a decimal .20 ERA, meaning he only one run. All that. But many of the A's victories were by narrow margins. Oakland had to win their 18th and 19th straight games by game-winning hits by Miguel Tejada, and then Scott Hatteberg saved them because Oakland was up 11-0, and then they choked it. The game was 11-11, but then Scott Hatteberg came up as a pinch hitter and hit one off Jason Grimsley. Home run, 12-11, A's win. Oakland did lose to Minnesota, though, but their surge put up 103 wins, which was pretty good. They were in essence the second best team in the American League, just 4 percentage points behind the Yankees, who played 161 games. So Oakland put up 103 wins to go to the playoffs. Unfortunately, the playoffs were a different story. They would end up losing to the Twins in 5 games. And a shocker. Even on home turf, they lost 5-4 to the Twins. And it was like, how the heck? You were up 2-1. You had a chance to clinch in Minnesota, which you choke in. Hudson sucked. And then on home turf, you lose to the Twins and Brad Radke. So Moneyball didn't work out completely. But at least for 1 year, it brought Oakland to the forefront. And of course, Oakland kind of uses Moneyball because they have to, because their stadium's decrepit, their talent's not that great, and the fans are staying away from it. And now the A's are almost certain to be in Las Vegas, meaning that Las Vegas will have 3/4 of the big 4 franchises. Like, they'll have the Las Vegas Athletics, they have the Raiders in football, they have the Golden Knights, who are the defending Stanley Cup champions as of this taping. And, well, baseball? Maybe. I mean, basketball? Maybe. You never know. But, yeah, that's just how I feel. And Moneyball, that book, changed baseball thinking and all that. And kind of makes people want to do, like, win plus replacements, ERA plus, and all that stuff. It's hard to follow. Just give me a simplistic thing to follow. That's all I ask. Anyway, I'm Jeff. I'm going to do.